Guys, welcome back to a new episode of Small Things. That was really loud. I'm probably going to have to mute that down, and I will. Guys, I'm on tour, Small Things Tour. I'm going to be heading to Austin, Texas, Fort Worth, Stamford, Connecticut, not Stanford, California. Big difference. I'm going to shoot down to New York City. We're going to Sacramento, San Francisco, and then next year, Charlotte, Boston, Bloomington, which is Minneapolis. It's like 2 seconds away. And then last but not least, Seattle. Keep an eye out for more dates. My agents are working diligently getting more dates. This episode was super funny. I talk about drugs. I talk about eating food. I talk about chefs. I talk about having male genitalia and the frustrations that ensue. And last but not least, I talk about my girlfriend, and that's all I need to know. Guys, stay tuned. Watch till the end. The last part is the funniest. And if you leave a comment, we can work out some situation where you might get a discount on my merch because I want to help you help me. Guys, thank you for watching this episode of Small Things.
You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things.
It's time to think about things that we call tall. Really isn't anything big, it's all small. I'm getting mixed feels knowing what the pod brings, cause it's a big deal listening to small things.
You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things.
Hey guys, welcome back to a new episode of Small Things. I'm your host, Matty Chimber. Thanks for clicking the button to do the thing, to listen to me say stuff. We're only going to be here for a small amount of time, probably about 20 minutes. I got to make dinner. I'm making chicken parm tonight because I'm an Italian. I'm an American Italian. I am half Italian. My mom's side is 100%, which is interesting because I don't even know. I mean, what is an 100% Italian in America? I mean, there are people who try to speak Italian, but nonetheless, I'm making chicken parm. I love cooking. Cooking's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. I know some people are bad at it. There's a huge stereotype that white people don't season their food, which I get pretty angry about, to be honest. I think we do a fantastic job. I personally, I taste my food. Throughout the process, I watch plenty of cooking shows, and you're supposed to season throughout the process. So when, other races like to say we don't season our food, I'm in the back scoffing a little bit. And, it triggers me, but I deal with it because at the end of the day, when I hear those comments, it's at a comedy show and I don't take it serious. Unlike the rest of the country who loves taking comedy serious. Comedy has to be by far one of the most serious taken topics in the world at this point. I mean, honestly, right now, I feel like I've said this rant before. I don't know. If I did, I apologize. But I mean, between my comedy videos, I've seen comedy on the internet, wherever it is. Why is that the most seriously taken topic? Why is that, people? How come when we actively post jokes, a sketch, which is a joke, video, skit, whatever you people want to call it, the comments are so serious. I'll do jokes about being in your 30s. We all know that's my shtick. And sidebar, people are like, why do you keep doing this one? I'm like, because it's working. What do you think? I'm just going to stop doing what works? I'm going to ride it out until you people hate it. And then I'll change topics. But until then, 30s are weird. That's the fucking theme. Deal with it. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting heated. But, people will comment on my videos in their 30s like, that's not true. What the fuck? Like, getting visibly mad. I'm like, you do know I'm a comic and I'm embellishing just the silliness of life to kind of make this sketch not so boring. I mean, what do you want me to do? That's one example. The other example, people going on, watching a comic do a joke, and they're just paragraphs on paragraphs of people fighting and angry. And I understand comedy's provocative, which I appreciate, but I think once it hits the airwaves or whether it's online or in people's ears, they just lose their mind and they take it so serious. But on the flip side, we take comedy serious, and on the flip side, people are, we all lived through COVID. We heard doctors say, wear a mask, do this and the other. I mean, any sort of medical video, people are like, suck my dick. Boo. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you're taking us more serious than doctors, which is flattering. I mean, I think we should be taking that serious, but at the extremes of what I mean. Tony Hinchcliffe was just on the Trump's one of his rallies, which is the term rally. Doesn't that sound a little that sounds racist by itself? I was at a rally, like, Jesus Christ. But Tony Hinchcliffe got a lot of heat. This is a two-sided argument, people. It's Trump booking a comedian to do roast jokes at his event. I mean, that's bizarre. I don't know why you would do that. So that is the tackiness. I don't get that. But people getting mad at Tony. It's like people are like, the joke sucked. I'm like, I mean, I don't know what the joke, but it's like that's what you expect of him. What did you people expect? And again, that's the world where we can't tell jokes on any platform because people get offended and everyone's like, you can't talk about Puerto Rico like that. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't talk about Puerto Rico, but it's like, let's be honest, there's like a zillion Florida jokes. I mean, I've heard a million California's gay jokes. You're like, I mean, let's get offended across the board if we're going to get offended. I mean, Puerto Rico, a lovely place. I've been there before. Some good, some bad, but that's every state, people. So this is a comedy podcast. Don't get offended. It's fine. We're out here. We're having fun. I'm an Italian. I don't even know how I got on the topic of comedy with the old Italian thing, but, sometimes we get a little sidetracked here on the podcast. Oh, I like cooking. That's what it was. I love cooking shows. I love the internet and entertainment, how it just makes people embellish and heighten things. Like I just said, I take my age and I heighten and embellish it. And some people, it goes so far, it becomes this weird version. Does that make sense? Probably not. But for example, like when I see like chefs on TV, or with stand-up, I mean, they become like these weird, really concentrated, bizarre characters. And, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think there's a time and a place. I love watching cooking shows. But, I mean, for Christ's sake, can I turn on a cooking show these days without a chef acting like he's a prisoner that got sentenced for life? I mean, the dudes they're just tatted up, talking shit the whole episode. The theme of the episode is just this hard knock, like, you come in my kitchen, you're gonna die. You're like, guys, you're making creme brulee. Let's not cross-pollinate the killer animalistic gang violence world with you guys in a kitchen chopping onions. It's like, I get they're trying to add some sort of like flair to the episode or make it a little more exciting, being it's like a challenge, but it's like, Jesus Christ, guys, you can be challenging without these. And I think that's the thing, the challenge, or I don't know if it's the challenge that's causing these guys to get crazy looking, or it's just them wanting to feel cool. I mean, you ever see like a photo of these chefs, or like they interview them before the episode? They're like, what's up? My name's Mike. They call me Skillet. You come in my kitchen, dude, you're going to get burnt. And it's like, oh my God, why did he just say that? Why did you just say those words? Just be a normal guy. Be normal. But then again, I mean, do people like that? I don't know. I said, I don't know 3 times, but cooking shows are weird. They're just like, I like when it's silly. I mean, it's silly when we're making things very aggressive, like the show. Remember Cupcake Wars? I'm like, my brain can't even process those 2 words. It sounds like somebody's saying tickle murder. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm hearing right now, but a guy, people make careers out of that. Guy Fieri, I like Guy. It's like weird. He like teetered the line. He was like PG level of the person I'm talking about. Like he did the flames and the hair, but he was like silly. Like that's what I like. I don't need people like screaming at me, like, fucking acting like they're gonna beat the shit out of me inside this kitchen. Guy Fieri is a silly guy. Guy Fieri reminds me just of like I don't even know what. I feel like Guy Fieri was made by just somebody dumping a Monster energy drink on a hamster. They did that like Ninja Turtles thing where then he just became a thing. And you know what? I like it. I've eaten at his restaurant, and we've had he's like trash can nachos. This is a food heavy. Can you tell I'm hungry? I'm gonna make some delicious chicken parm after this. It's seasoned beautifully, but I don't know. I like eating out. Sometimes eating out, I don't know. One thing that pisses me off when we go to restaurants is like the temperature, the air conditioning temperatures has to be right in my head. I mean, and that being said, I feel like the occupants, whether you're at a restaurant, you're at home, we need to take in consideration what people are wearing, what's going on. My girlfriend, I love her to death, but she has poor temperature management with her body. I'll come home and the temperature's at 68 degrees. It's chilly. There's icicles from the ceiling, and she's
in a coat with a blanket on the couch. And I'm like, just take that off and make the temperature normal. You know what I'm saying? Just make it normal. It's frustrating because I try to dress appropriate. But then again, I'm like, what's appropriate? I mean, I feel like growing up, it was the other way because it's a warmer climate out here. So we got the air cranked down. And I'm like, you just wear shorts. I mean, shorts, t-shirt, you're good. But people like doing that weird, like, inverse stuff. Like, I lived with a girl once I was waiting for I left my apartment, and my buddies who I was going to move in with were their lease wasn't up for like 6 months. I was like, all right, I got to get a sublet, and I live with this girl. And I remember she would like these people at night. They're like, I like sleeping in the cold, which I get. They're statistically, the cold helps you sleep better. But I mean, when people like put like 9 blankets on their bed and then put the air down to like 50 degrees, what are we doing? We have to be a happy medium because now you're setting the tone for my bed of like, now I need 9. I'm waking up shivering in the middle of the night. I would get up and I would raise it. I mean, like to like a modest 65, even though she would literally be in the 50s in our apartment. And I would raise it, and then fucking a minute later, I would just hear her like come back out, and you just hear the tapping of it going up, and I'm just like, dude, I swear to fucking God. I remember last week I talked about how I liked living in apartments, but now I don't think I like doing that as much. But it's different with my girlfriend. I mean, it's silly. I can raise it. We find a happy medium, but it's interesting living with a girlfriend. I mean, my girlfriend been together. We've been living together for about like a year and a half now, and it's funny. One thing happened today that I think was silly, where I wake up and she wakes up before me, and it's not that I sleep in. I mean, I get out of bed at like 9. She's up at like 7. I wish I can do that. I wish I was a morning person, but I'm not. But I remember, and I don't know if you've ever had this, but this morning I woke up gone. I don't know where she was. And it's interesting because it was a fear feeling. And it wasn't like, oh my God, where did she go? Like, where the hell is this girl? It was, oh my God, did she tell me she was going somewhere and I can't remember? Like, that fear is that's now on me. One is her safety. The latter is me being like, fuck. She says stuff and I fucking can't remember. But that's the thing. She's like, you don't listen when I say stuff. And I'm like, not that I don't listen. I don't remember. That's a huge difference. I hear everything. My brain hears it. It goes in my ears. I mean, the sound physically can't not go in my ears. It's the remembering. It's where are you telling me these things in an environment that's conducive for remembering? I mean, I feel like sometimes, I'll defend the men, but I feel like sometimes women might tell you things in passing. They might tell you a version of what actually happened, but way less vague, or there was when you tell people something, you have to sometimes look at them and shake them and be like, what did I just fucking say? Do that. I'd rather that to me than, me waking up terrified and, wondering if I'm a bad boyfriend, but I'm not a bad boyfriend. I'm actually a good boyfriend. What is this? The row. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to read something. If you're wondering if okay, that's a joke. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't smoke. I was out last night. It says I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs at all. I mean, people do drugs. And I mean, it's pretty interesting, and I don't know if this was a thing back in the day, but like, I miss when drug addicts lives were in shambles, and they kind of, whether they knew it or not, there was a sense of like, they're down and out, they're doing their drugs, it's not good, and as the bypass, what do we say? I don't want to say like responsible, because I'm not responsible with them, but like, outside looking in, it was frustrating because you're like, okay, these people, we got to help them out. Let's help out the drug addicts. You got to get your life together. And then now, I don't know what's going on in the last like 5 years. It started with fucking weed. And maybe this was around, but weed led to shrooms, led to ayahuasca, all the psychedelics. People are doing ketamine now. This era of drug addict, and I don't think they know they're called that. This era of drug addicts, the polar opposite, where back in the day, drug addicts were not doing well and they needed to get their lives together. And now with the new era drug addicts, they're the only people that'll look at you and be like, you need to get your life together. I'm like, you need to get your life together. Don't flip this on me. You're the one doing the bad stuff. And that's the fucking thing with it. I watched an interview with Neil Brennan, the comic. He was on Joe Rogan after he did like DMT or one of those things. And they just come out so cocky. They're like, oh, that was it. I just borderline died. And you know what? I understand life now. And this is how it all is. And you actually, I don't know if you're actually wrong. Did you know that? I'm like, no, it's funny because fuck you, you're wrong. The amount of people who like take shrooms or take like, and again, if you enjoy it, that's fine. But when people now take it and they get this God complex, like they've unlocked the keys to they've unlocked the keys to life. And now that was the missing link. And now they can walk around like they're better. And there's plenty of comics out here. One example, and I may or may not say his name at the end of the podcast. I don't care. He's a good guy, but I was talking to him. He's since come on to a lot of success with his videos online. He's very funny, good guy. Big into the DMT world, ayahuasca. I don't know if those are the same things. I don't do any of that stuff, but I saw him at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and I was just like, hey dude, congrats. You're doing so good. We're just shooting the shit. And, as an emerging comic, somebody's trying to make it myself, and him, finding success. I like to know what happened. I like to know. It's interesting to me. It's like watching like 30 for 30 where I'm like, what was the moment where it started to take off? And I was just like, I was like, dude, what was it that you saw like the biggest response to, like as far as getting followers and this, that, and the other? And I remember it just turned into like this 10-minute story of like, dude, I just do like ayahuasca now. And like, since then I've been able to just like really just recenter myself. And I've been manifesting every morning. I write down what I want and I start blah, blah, blah. Dude, just 10 minutes of like the most concentrated spiritual drug infused story of fucking channeling entities and this, that, and the other. And the irony was, after all that, he's like, that's it. And I go, oh, anything else? He goes, yeah, I also started posting like every day. And I'm like, just say that. What was that fucking 10 minutes of bullshit you just spewed at me? Like, but like literally all this, you're like, that. Again, if it makes you feel better and you want to do positive affirmations, I get it. And I do think that's a good thing. I think it's better to dwell on the positive than dwell on the negative. I get it. But, it's just weird when people like, they kind of act like there's like this allure around it. And again, I mean, there's The Secret. I get all the books that are freaking, selling that. But even I listened to The Secret, and it was just like another thing where, positive affirmations and all this stuff and what manifesting, that was the word I was looking for. That book is big into like, you got to say what you want, you got to manifest. And then like so much so where it's like, okay, you can have some examples where people like, it makes them very driven. I get it. But then there's some examples where like, they're like, I was sick, and then I said I wasn't sick, then I didn't get sick, and I'm just like, you're a crock of shit. We're done here. I can't. That was the line. I was like, I could refuse. I refuse to walk further with your stories. You're telling me you were sick. Let's just like bedridden, cancer, tumors popping up everywhere, and they're like, I'm not sick anymore, and I'm like, yeah, we're done here. I think we're actually going to be, I wish I can rewind a lot of this and just not even entertain this conversation we just had. I mean, that's the world I refuse to go into. You see that a lot out here where, people meditating, like I was meditating and I started hallucinating, and I'm like, it sounds like you actually fell asleep. You fell asleep and you are now blaming the meditation for a bodily function that just happened. That's not, you're like, I just manifested all the negative energy out of me, and it felt like a lump of coal. It's like, dude, you took a shit. You just shit. It's not energy. It's nothing. It's just shit leaving your ass. Let's stop with that thing. Let's just stay grounded in the present. Wouldn't you want to give like things in the moment more credit of like just like the natural process? Like, why are you trying to give all these like outside things, the credit for maybe things you're potentially just experiencing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's bizarre to say the least. It was something I was going to say about. Sometimes I do these and then I'm like in this tangent of just giving, I don't know, all this spiritual stuff. I get it though. I mean, I was an advocate of that. I have anxiety. I'm a weird guy, but I don't like that. Like, there was a moment where I was really like, okay, is there like maybe magnesium? I want to take that. I want to take this. I'm like looking for this thing. And then finally one day I was just like, how about this? How about fuck this? How about that? How about fucking no to thinking shitty and being down and whatever, and just fucking move on. And when those thoughts pop up, no, let's get the F out of here. And that's what it is. I go to therapy. You know what? I told my therapist, I was like, I feel like every time I come here, I want to like I want to like, it stirs up, like I'm like looking for problems. And I was like, that to me is a good and a bad thing, where I was like, you know what, it's making me look for like problems and dwell more, when in another world I can just ignore them and forget about half that shit. But that's it is what it is, people. Let's just change. Let's pivot hard. I wrote down dicks are annoying, pissing after you shake. Okay, so dicks are annoying. I think vaginas are actually, I gotta say that the argument for the vagina is just more times better. I mean, there's just little things with having a penis that just gets really old. We're at 20 minutes. Shit, I gotta eat my chicken parm. One of the most frustrating things with having a penis is by far when you're wearing like pajamas, whether it's gym shorts, fleece. Sometimes I wear fleece pants and I urinate and I don't know what it is. And I shake and I pull my pants up and then I turn around and I take one step and like there's just a tablespoon of piss that just shoots out into my pants on my leg. And it's not a lot to like have to change, but it's enough to make it feel uncomfortable long enough. I don't know if you've been around like wet fleece. It's just such an annoying thing. And it's all just because of the dick. And you're like, God damn it. Why weren't you out? What, are you late? Was there an air bubble? What happened? Why aren't you in the toilet with the rest? Now it just shot out to my thigh, to my quadricep, and like the pant dries it. But it dries it, but now my pant's damp and it's like sticking to my leg slightly. And you're like, man, am I really going to change for like a little piss? And you kind of, you deal with it. I mean, I don't like that, but I mean, that alone, and then even just stepping back, urinating with a penis, sometimes it's just annoying. I mean, I'll stand over the toilet and I go to piss, and then out of nowhere, my piss is like, let's just go left. Let's go left and hit the wall for a second. And then you calibrate and turn your body. Then it goes straight, and now you're just pissing on your wall, which looks even worse. And you're like, what is wrong with the penis hole where it like kind of like, it's like an aperture that like doesn't open correctly sometimes. Like that's like equivalent to like a blurry photo where it's just like, the shutter speed was a little off, and now I'm pissing in my trash can. But you know what, guys? What did we learn today? White people season their food. Me specifically, chefs are annoying and they need to calm down, as do drug addicts. Drug addicts don't make you better. Mushrooms don't make you better at life. Mushrooms just make you more annoying and turn off the common sense circuits, and you're now annoying and you don't even realize it, which is more frustrating for us and down the road you, because you don't even know. I think people need to relax with the air conditioning, chill. We get you. We get it. You like it cold. That's not a personality. And last but not least, I have a therapist and I piss my pants. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I appreciate you getting all the way to the end. Leave a comment. Do something. Subscribe. Be better. I don't know. I'll be better if you be better. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Tall really isn't anything big. It's all small. I'm getting mixed feels knowing what the pod brings, cause it's a big deal listening to small things.
You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things. You bring her out, you have her hold small things. Hold small things.